Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kira Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kira, and you guys, I'm so excited for Consultant Takeover. Guys, that was me attempting to sing into this microphone for you, and I hope you loved it. Today, Consultant Takeover. Grab your pens, grab your notebooks, bringing in the heat today. And as always, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time on the Dental Team Podcast.
Good morning, Dana. How are you this morning? What's your world like today?
It's good. Sun's shining. I'm happy to be here. It's a great day.
Good. Same. I was hoping for some clouds. There's like some looming clouds over in the distance there, but as always, I think it's just going to go right around Phoenix. I'll probably pop right over me and go south to you, and you'll be seeing it in a few hours. Yeah. So it's still pretty early in the day. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I really, really, truly love podcasting with you guys. And I love that we record them like by video now, because this new like social media thing is like, oh, let's do YouTube all over again is what it feels like. You know how we go like forward and then we go backwards, like whatever. That's what it feels like. But then I love it because I get to see you, and it's like we get to just chat for, 30 minutes or whatever and become best friends even more than we already are. So today I have a fun one for you today, mostly because it's wrapped around marketing, and internal marketing, and something, you could do internal or external on this, I guess, but something that really I think is undervalued by team members. I think doctors sometimes get it, and they want this piece to be more prevalent in their practice, but I really truly feel like team members undervalue this piece a lot. I've got a practice that I'm working really closely with right now in Georgia. She's right outside of Atlanta. And she is seriously struggling to get reviews asked for by her team. And there's so many things that come up, so many excuses that come up around it. But the reality is something is holding them back. And it's probably something that they're not truly speaking. But with that, I'm really pushing her to push the team, and I'm really pushing the team. Otherwise, we're really going to push Swell, which is a fantastic company, you guys, that helps get the reviews. They're really fantastic. We affiliate with them, so let them know we sent you and see what they can do for you. But today, I really wanted to talk about the benchmarks, because something that I think teams don't really realize, and sometimes doctors don't know the information either, but Google specifically is where everybody goes for all of the information, right? They just kind of took over, and people are like, Bing, what does that even mean? Yahoo, like, who is that, right? Like, Google just did it right, and they really took over that scene. They've become an adjective now, and you Google things, right? I'm just going to Google it. So Google has certain parameters wrapped around the rating of your presence on the internet, right? And so one of those that's super controllable outside of your SEO on your website and those pieces is your Google reviews. And there are so many practices out there that don't realize this. And they've got like 5, 20, 100 reviews. And they're like pounding these SEO companies, asking them, why can't you get my rating higher? Why am I not one of the first places when somebody Googles dentist in my area? I've even had dental practices, Dana, that they're like the only dentist in that area, but they're not the first one that pops up because someone 20 miles away has a better Google rating behind the scenes than their practice did because they're small town and have like 25 reviews. So I wanted to talk about that today and those benchmarks. So one of the biggest benchmarks for our larger practices specifically, but really you guys, anyone can get here, is that 500 mark. So 500 and always making sure like they're 5 stars. You guys like do your due diligence, do the right thing for your patients, and they're going to give you a 5-star. But really getting that benchmark of 500 really exponentially increases your SEO online. So I feel like that's the information, and like push for that, get to there, set your benchmarks. I have a practice in Utah I've worked with for years that we've been pushing for this. And every year we just increase his goal. So the first goal was 100. The second year it was 250. Next time it's going to be 350. Then it's going to be 500. So I incrementally have been moving him to get to that 500 mark, and he will get there. He's well on his way already. But Dana, I think like there's the information we have. So, okay, cool, Tiff. Like I understand I need to get to 500. That's awesome. What do we need to do to get to 500? And I think verbiage is really easy for you. I think it just kind of like flies off your tongue. You do this all day with teams. I know you work with a lot of clients one-on-one, and you do a lot of this wrapped around reviews and referrals. So they understand, they get it. Tiff, I understand the SEO. I hear you. I need to get to 500. What do I do? So what do you feel like? What are some awesome tips that you have? I would say one, on talking to the team about it. How do they approach their team in saying like, this is a team effort? And then two, how do they ask for their reviews? What are some suggestions you have?
Yeah. So I think really it is that Google reviews are one of the things, right? Besides referrals, reviews are one of the things that the team can really have an impact on. And I think that it's important for them to know that they have an impact on it, and that like truly a practice needs new patients to keep growing and moving forward. And one of the ways that they can impact that is by reviews. And I think oftentimes team members, that's uncomfortable, right? Like they feel like it has to be an uncomfortable ask, and they don't realize that it really can be easy and be part of natural, organic conversation with our patients throughout their visit. It doesn't even have to be saved for the end, right? It doesn't have to be like this specific time where this is now I've got to ask for a review, right? And the other thing I think it's important for them to know is there are fantastic companies out there, and I know you plug Swell, and they really are great at what they do. Personal asks, though, will always add on to that, right? Those are great services, absolutely. But when we do that personal ask, patients are more likely to do the thing. They may do it from the reminder that Swell sends them, right? And I think it's you partner with that. So even if you have something like Swell or Podium or those companies that do that, personal asking is still going to push your investment further.
Totally. I'm going to jump in real quick because this reminded me, and it's so relevant for today. I love this. I got my teeth cleaning yesterday. I went to my dentist here in town, my local dentist, and I went and got my cleaning. And I know my hygienist personally. Like she's a personal friend of my group of friends, and so I know her. And I'm thinking the whole time about reviews because I know that it's very important. I know the manager, I know the doctor, I know this whole facility, right? So I know it's important to them. No one said anything to me, especially even knowing that I'm a consultant. But then hours later, it was probably like 7 p.m. last night. So it was like 5 hours later, I got a text, and it was like, thank you so much for coming today. We'd love to hear your feedback. Please leave us a review. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really think because she didn't ask me, I'm not leaving it. But I didn't leave a review. I deleted the text message because I was like, meh, I'm in the middle of stuff, right? So I literally deleted the text message. But had she asked me, or had any of the people that I had communicated with yesterday asked me personally for that review, I would have felt tied to having said yes. And I would have felt guilty not leaving the review last night. So I love that you mentioned that even if you're using an outside company, it just gives a really good crutch, I think, to the team to be like, hey, you're going to get a text and I'd love to hear back. But I love that you said that because it literally happened to me yesterday, and I know how important these reviews are. So you would think in theory, I would be the one that's like, no, for sure I'll leave a review because I know how it's important. But literally I was just like a normal human being and said, no, I don't really have time for that right now. And I deleted the text message. Yeah. I love that.
And I love that you pointed out that like, hey, it wasn't because she didn't ask, but it was also because it wasn't made clear to you that it's important to them. And so I think that's where that personal ask comes into play. And so I think letting the team know that, yeah, like maybe we do have some automatic efforts. And oftentimes that's kind of another barrier for teams. Team members will throw those barriers out when it's something that's uncomfortable.
For sure.
And I think that's always another barrier that's thrown at us. Well, we already have a company that does that, or we already send out auto requests, and that's great. And truly use that as a talking point too. That's an easy way to have that conversation is, hey, Tiff, when you get home, you're going to get a request for a review, and we'd really love if you would share so other people know that we're here, right? Yeah. So I think utilize that as a talking point. And I think one of the easiest ways for team members to ask for those reviews is to ask for feedback from our patients, right? Yeah. As a hygienist, when you're sitting up that patient, hey, how was that? Everything okay? Did anywhere feel uncomfortable? How comfortable was that for you? Asking for that feedback. And then when you get positive feedback, take it one step further, right? Thank them for it. Let them know how much you appreciate it, and then how much you would appreciate it if they shared it, right? And the goal is either, hey, I love that you always say, I want to make a bigger impact. We're looking to make a bigger impact. We're looking to have a farther reach into our community. Patients don't always know that, right? Sitting in your chair, they're probably not thinking about how, man, if I just shared about this dental office, it would surely make a bigger impact for them, for the community. Patients don't always think that way. And so I think letting them know that, or saying, hey, we just want people to know that we're here. We just want to serve in any way that we can. That's how you make it part of natural conversation versus a, hey, here's a card for a review, right? Like that's awkward for sure.
Yeah.
So
I love the saying, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. I say that all the time to people. They're like, oh, my sister constantly is like, I'm a really awkward person. I'm like, well, you're only awkward because you make it awkward. Like if you didn't say I'm really awkward or make it awkward, like it wouldn't be awkward. So just don't do that thing that makes it awkward. And I think that's one of the pieces where it's like, I feel like I'm asking for something. I get that from teams a lot. Like, I feel like I'm begging, like we need it. I'm like, you do need it. You absolutely need it. And you need to help more people. That's why we're here. So what inspires you as a human? Majority of the time, we are inspired as human beings to help other human beings. We are put on this earth to serve others. And in the dental community, especially, we are here to serve others. And just so you guys know, your patients are thinking of you like a static doctor's office or a hospital or that healthcare professional that's like, you're here no matter what. That ain't the case, guys. You're not here no matter what. You are here to make a difference on the community that you're a part of. And if you don't continue getting new patients and getting this higher SEO rating so that happens, like you're not here no matter what. You're not getting government funding to supply your building with the things that you need. You need the patient base in order to continue building and growing and helping more people. And I think, Dana, you hit on so many good points within that, what you were saying, and the words, the verbiage that they can use, because that's what inspires the team to get over those hurdles. I remember my dentist would go wild, and I was young, and I was like, calm down. Like, why is this such a big deal? Reviews and referrals. If he says it to me one more time, I'm going to freak out. Well, he never, to us, it was a grasping. It was a, we need to hit these financial goals. We need to do this. And I'm watching all of these pieces, but it was never translated to our team in a way that truly is the reason behind it, which is to help more people, to serve our community, to do more for the people who are patients already. Like if we're making money and we're making profits, we can reinvest into the company and the business and do more for patients who aren't here yet and the patients who are. And I think a lot of times teams get wrapped up in like, what about the people who are already here? Why are we just thinking about new patients? That's not the case, but we forget to talk about that. We forget to mention it to people. So then when we come in and we're like, hey guys, we're at 80 reviews. We need to get to 500. They're like, okay, you're crazy. It took us 5 years to get 80 reviews. And so we don't understand the intentionality behind it. So I love what you said there and really just honing in on that. let's break down a little bit those goals, because I do think there's a lot of practices that have 80 or 120 or 25, and we're like, get 500. Like that feels daunting.
Yeah.
So I think breaking that down a little bit, and like I did for my client out in Utah, I really looked at this is where you want to be in 5 years. So based on the average that you've done without work, let's ramp that up 10-20% and see where we can get you by the end of the year. And then let's duplicate those efforts year over year to get you to 500. You guys, you're not going to get 420 reviews this year. That's just not going to happen. Okay. So be realistic and create goals just like you do for anything else. You didn't open your practice and say, I'm going to make $5 million this year. You opened your practice and you said, I really want to make 500,000. I really want to make 800,000. And then you said 1.2, 1.8, 2.2. Now you're growing and you're getting there. Use your, right? Like get up there. Use your reviews in the same way and break them down to really see what can you accomplish, and let's push for that. Dana, what do you think? How granular, I guess, should they break that down? And what are you doing with your clients to really get those reviews in place?
Absolutely. And you break it down all the way to individual team member. Because if we're just going to say, hey, let's get another 100 reviews, team members don't know how much they need to impact that. So then we don't generally get the effort that's needed to get there from team members. And that's not necessarily on purpose. It's just that we didn't break it down to say, hey, your role in this is to ask X amount of times, right? So I think knowing what your goal is, and then also knowing that like, statistics say for every 4 asks, we usually get 1, right? Yeah. So knowing that, then break it down to how many asks do each team member need to do each day?
Yeah, I love that.
And then build in some sort of accountability piece so that we know our team members are asking. So whether you have them identify who they're going to ask in morning huddle, or we do colored beads in a jar. That's one of my favorites. Colored beads in a jar. And then whoever's asked for the most, right, gets something really fun. But build in an accountability piece to it too, so that we know really team members are day in and day out doing those asks, holding themselves accountable, and pushing towards that goal.
I love it. I love it. So breaking it down super granular, like you said, you got to ask for 3 to 4 times the amount that you're trying to get to, making sure we're asking for them, having that accountability piece. And then I think the lead and the lag measure piece as well, right? So our lead measure is how many are we trying to get? Our lag measure is what have we gotten? What have we received? And then what do we do with that information? Because I'm thinking, well, if we break it down and this month we say we need to get 20 and we get 10, and then next month we're like, we need to get 20 and then 20. And then by the time we get to the end of the year, we're like, dang, we didn't meet our mark. It's the same thing as your production. If you're low in production this month and you don't tack it on to somewhere else in the year, you're not going to reach your yearly goal. So watching those lead and lag measures. So the accountability piece is going to be how many did you ask for 4 to get 1? So how many were you supposed to ask for, and did you? And make it fun. You guys don't make it like micromanaging, like how many reviews? Make it fun. That's why I love Dana's bead idea. I saw her do it in a practice live one day and I was like, Dana, this is brilliant. It's gorgeous. These beads are so much fun. I ran and got the supplies and it was just so much fun watching you do that with the team in person. That was one of that in-office visit was just so fun to watch, and it was just so cool to be there with you. So I think do something fun like that. I've seen game boards where it's like football season, right? And so they'll do like move the little football and you're getting to the touchdown or whatever needs to happen. Make those goals fun. So break them down super granular. Get as small as you possibly can. Make sure you're doing the lead and lag measures. And then you guys ask your team for help with this and really work through the verbiage. Here is our pro tip. This is something that Dental A team does, I think, differently than a lot of other companies. And I think we do it really freaking well. We work with you side by side. We don't come in and say, this is the way. We come in and say, hey, I've got some ideas. This is the verbiage that I like, but let's work on it for you. So you guys, doctors out there, office managers, if you're listening and you're like, I'm going to take everything they said and I'm going to go tell my team this is what we're doing. Work with your team. break down the barriers with your team. Find out what's holding them back from leaving or for asking for those reviews, and then work through the verbiage that will work for your team. Mm-hmm. And that means individual team members too. Sally Joe may not say it the same as Peggy Sue down in front office, like back office and front office. They may be doing it very differently, and that's okay. The result is what you're after. So if you're getting the result, that's what matters. How you get there can be very individualized. So set your benchmarks, break down your goals, start right away, talk to your team, and then you guys give them the verbiage and work through the verbiage with them. And then I love, Dana, I wrote this note down. You guys, don't forget, ask for a review, even if you have the crutch of an outside company. Because again, remember Tiff, the dental A team consultant, just last night, I didn't even save the text. I was just like, delete, because I don't want, unknown number text messages in there. I literally deleted the text. I'm a consultant. I'm talking to you about this today. You guys, they're less likely to leave a review if you haven't asked. They're more likely to leave it if you have. And if you have never left a review in your life, please do so. You can do it right here, right now. You can drop a 5-star review below. Tell us how we did. Tell us how much you loved this. But you guys, if you think of the last restaurant or store, wherever that you've been, that you really enjoyed the service, hop on Google Maps, find them, and leave a review. You guys need to know how simple it is, because that's a barrier. People say, well, it's just that unknown. They don't know how to leave a review. So asking for a review is difficult. So go leave a review, have your team pull out their phone, have everyone leave a review at the last place. I've done that in office with multiple practices, working on reviews. And honestly, I've had some aha moments from some team members that were like, holy cow, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, I know. So set your benchmarks, break it down, ask your team for help, work through the verbiage with them. Dana, is there anything else you can think of to help them get to those 500 5-star reviews?
I think we covered it.
I think so too. It was a lot. It was more than I thought it was going to be, you guys. I love it. Awesome. Dana, thank you for being here with me today. I love these power sessions. I love hearing you speak and all of the wisdom that comes through it. So thank you so much. So much for giving me your time today. Guys, that's a wrap. Go leave us a review. Do it. Find out how simple it is. 5-star below. Dental A Team is on Google too. We don't use that very often, but if you want to see how easy it is on Google, go utilize that. But drop us a 5-star review here. Let us know how you enjoyed this, so that other people in our community and outside of our community can really see what we're all about and see the impact that we're making on not only the dental community, but businesses and lives as well. And as always, if you need help, if you have questions, if you're like, Tiff, I just don't know how to do this, Dana, I need your verbiage, reach out to us. hello@thedentalateam.com. I promise you guys, we are on the other side of that. And a lot of the time, it is a consultant that's answering that. It gets filtered through our admin team and they send them to us and we answer them. Also, silent plug here, or small plug, your newsletters you guys are getting, or if you're not getting them, go subscribe. We write those, you guys. So this information you're getting today is also coming, a lot of that is coming by newsletter. We just deeper dive on these podcasts. So if you're not getting the newsletters yet, go subscribe. We literally, the consultants, Dana, myself, and Danae are writing. Britt has written a ton, but we finally exited her from writing them. But we're writing all of those newsletters, you guys. So you are getting actual consultants on there. So leave us a review, reach out to us if you need us, and go subscribe to our newsletters. Dana, I can't wait to podcast with you again.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.